This morning it gives me great pleasure to moderate this session with all of the entrepreneurs. And I'd also like to say that it has been truly an honor working with Qure on this project from the very start, from call 1 to call 4, and working very closely on a day-to-day basis with these entrepreneurs. So our objective of this session is to get from the entrepreneurs their perspective on the impact that the Shaping the Future of Innovation project has had in terms of lessons learned, outcomes, results, both in terms of the immediate result of the innovation, as well as some of them would have already started actually having positive other results, such as new markets and partners and collaborations, employment, etc. And then to hear from the entrepreneurs what plans they have for the future, the way forward. Okay, so to start, first question. The application process in the Shaping the Future of Innovation project involved several stages: a high-level strategic concept note, a detailed application with implementation steps, budget, financial projections, business canvas model, then a pitch to all the evaluators. As an entrepreneur, did you find this to be helpful? Did it help you at all in the planning and the shaping of your project? I'd like to pose this firstly to Dr. Chelsea Garcia.
Thank you so much, Marie-Louise. My field is medicine, and for me, this was so instrumental. I think that at the time, it was a lot. It was a very overwhelming, with a lot of detail. But you opened the door to a world that I, for one, was unaware of, and allowing me to really sit down with my thoughts and project my business and really think, how could I impact the most lives and make sure that's a success? And as Mr. Kavanagh said, you know, there are so many businesses that succeed, but there are also those that fail as well, not because it's not a good innovation, but maybe because they didn't have that phase. One of the reasons could be they didn't have that base. And even after this project closed for us, beyond the grant funding, I still go back to those spreadsheets every day and continue to follow that trajectory and move past into the years. And even looking back, you know, it takes time to innovate. It also takes, you do something, you have an idea, you pilot, and then you adapt and you refine. And it allows you to really have all that laid out for you. So I think it's one of the most instrumental components. Beyond the funding, I think it truly is so very important. And even for those that don't win and they are not actually accepted into the Innovation Challenge, even that in itself gives those companies a success.
Thank you for that. Would anybody else like to add to what Dr. Chelsea Garcia had to say?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been a ride for us. It started off in the first call, and unfortunately, the first call, you spoke about, for those who, you know, apply and haven't made it, that was us. And I see some of my colleagues here, they were also in the first call and weren't successful. But just going through the process, going through the concept note, which initially was, I was like, oh, this is straightforward. Did the concept note, and was like, good. And then, you know, if I could be honest, when I saw the second stage, when we were accepted, and it's okay, the second stage, great. And then we saw this proposal, and it was so detailed. It was like, what's all this? It was, you have to do your business model canvas, you have to do the projections, and it was a lot. And especially as entrepreneurs, you know, we all experience it, where we have tons of things that we're doing. We're not only doing the strategy, but we also running the business. We delivering, for those of us who into, you know, creating products and delivering them. We are marketers, we content creators, we're everything in the business. And this is something that comes up a lot in talking with small businesses, business owners. And for me, that was a bit overwhelming. It was, okay, I want the grant. I definitely want access to this, but I have to do this. So we did it. And a lot of it did get me thinking about the process and where I want to be with Grapevine in particular, our project. But I must admit that I suffered when after doing this work in the first call, and then not getting the call that, hey, you were successful, you got the grant. It hit me, really to my heart, to core. And I don't know if you could call it a tabanka, but second call came around, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Third call came around, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then the fourth call, which, funny enough, today I realized this is the last call. Yeah, the fourth call, Marie was like, Joel, you were close, And I was like, all right, put on your big boy pants and do it again. But this time I was ready. And the good thing about it was that from the first call, what I learned from that and the feedback that I got, it helped in terms of framing for the fourth call, which second time I did it, where I was able to use what I learned from where the missteps were. And the fact that it was so close, I realized, okay, there are a few things that I need to work on, which is clarity in terms of how I share my vision and my dream, clarity in that, and also just being, in terms of the Grapevine product itself, refining it so that the evaluators, they understand the message or that dream that I had. So failures, it was mentioned in the previous panel and it's mentioned here as well. Failure is part of the course. It's being an entrepreneur, we know. We have that experience ongoing. But having done this, going through the process, it's been really instrumental in how it's shaped Grapevine. We started off as an app, and it's moved now into more building communities, not building the app alone. So, and I'll share more of that later on in the discussion because I want to give the other panelists time to talk as well.
So there's no doubt that readiness, the level of readiness, had a lot to do with why someone would not be successful in the first call. They just weren't ready at that stage.
And that's true. That's true. And I think I was grateful for the rejection.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on to the second question. Okay. What were your thoughts regarding the need for procurement procedures? The need to do price comparison, or the need to have to write out a formal request for quote, terms of reference, to get multiple proposals, to evaluate the proposals and go through this whole process. Did any of you find this beneficial, and is it something that you will continue to practice? I want to pose this to Adanna.
Hello, everyone. I know my Marie is pointing at me because I was one of them who did not quite practice that properly. And without Marie going through it with me in detail, I wouldn't have understood the importance of it. Initially, the procurement process and procedure felt very time-consuming, and it's not something I wanted to spend time on. Most of us don't want to spend time on it. But it has now become a valuable discipline for us at ARI. We have now implemented that in all aspects of our business, and thank you very much, Marie. It's comparing the prices and documented everything. When I tell you everything, forced me to become more thorough in thinking and hiring And not just saying, you know what, I like that person, the vibe's good. You know, it made me align the like I say, the goal with the individual that we were hiring, and it made the process a lot easier and more effective. We did end up sourcing high quality products and services at a better price, which not only improved our product, but also our margins, where we would have probably spent a lot more on something that would not have given us the outcomes. We were able to negotiate a lot better as well. And the process minimized waste and helped us establish a more professional, auditable workflow. So we basically, you know, scaling up, not just, okay, micro anymore, but we are now putting in, we have put in proper systems in our procurement procedures. So yes, it was very beneficial for us.
Okay. And just a general question here. What has been for you the most beneficial lesson learned in going through this entire process? Maybe Brendan?
So at the beginning, in 2022, we were just a small company, just thinking locally. When this application came, you know, the requirement itself of the application, as Joel was alluding to, we started taking big picture because this is a EU funded primarily, and we started thinking, hey guys, you know, this is EU, this is a different level of thinking. And I think going forward now in 25, and you know, going into international markets, we've adopted everything, well actually most things that this application has given us, the procurement procedures, the way of thinking, the constant buffing from Marie, Louise, you know, keeping us in check, thank you. But yeah, everything going forward, I think that was the, you know, beneficial lesson, yeah, most.
Okay. Okay, would anyone like to share results in terms of new markets, exports, employment, livelihoods impacted, any change to financial performance of your company, efficiency improvements, sustainability impacts, etc.? Anybody would like to share their results so far?
I could share ours. Well, to summarize everything you mentioned there, to me, where this initially started, we were in call one, so a lot has happened from there. And I didn't foresee, so we spoke a lot today about the readiness of a business. We spoke a lot today about the application process and how that really impacted the success of the business, as well as procurement. But beyond that, right, in the implementation phase and beyond, is the opportunities that flow from there. And not just the opportunities of networking, but even the opportunity to now sit and reflect, okay, here we are after this, where are we going? So for me, I think that some of the impacts of the opportunities and all the things that we didn't see at that time that unfolded, I could speak for our company, we more than quadrupled, right, in our capacity with the sustainability of all our staff. We were able to impact so many lives. So in 2024 alone, we saved about 1,500 hospitalizations of patients. And that wouldn't have been possible had it not been for this grant. We were also able to expand geographically, so to be able to give access to those that couldn't access it at all. And then partner with different agencies. So financially, we're a private company, but we spoke today a lot about incorporating NGOs and really trying to serve those persons that are vulnerable and using that private investment to really get into those vulnerable communities and really impact their lives. So much has flowed from this, too numerous to mention, and I think the beauty of it is go into it with an open mind. And the process is designed to for success. And I could say for my company that we would not have been where we are today had it not for this grant. And I feel for the country of Trinidad and Tobago, I'm so proud of what we achieved, and we really wouldn't have been able to achieve it, not only without your financing, but without your support and your guidance. So thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For me personally, it's been the process. It's been really impactful, and just working with Marie, with Denise, and the rest of the team, it's been very supportive. And we've shifted from, and I have shifted my mindset and psyche from about me and my business to now, how can we impact the community? How can we have an impact on individuals, on the businesses that initially we were more thinking, how can we make profit off of these businesses? And now it's more about how can we serve these businesses so that we can all make a profit. So there's been a huge mind shift from February when we got the fund, the grant, to now where it's really about how can we make a difference in a real meaningful way and build a product and a service that serves all. So our solution and our product has shifted actually. It's pivoted from, just as I mentioned before, an app to now a solution that serves the SME community. And you can always check out our table later on to find out more about it. Thank you.
Okay. I want to just add a question, because I think it's important to bring this out. Would you say, can any of you maybe talk a little bit about to what extent the grant funds allowed you to access unique expertise or unique technology that you may not have been able to immediately, or maybe perhaps access in 3 years down the road? But to what extent did it allow you access to that expertise or technology? Anyone?
At REs, for us it is very important on a daily basis to really work on our innovation, because I get bored pretty quickly. And with the grant, especially the pilot project, the academic linkage, we were able, and now we have put in our lab, our innovation lab, where we have had access not just to one research associate, but two. And it has been indeed mind-blowing because of the different projects that we've been working on, all the different ways that we use our local produce, our pawpaw skin, our dongs, all of that. It's just been very satisfying. And I know that our lab would not have been in place if it wasn't for the grant. And that is one of the key things that I know why RE is. There's one thing that we've learned along the way from the beginning of this process to now. It's always a lesson, never a failure. So things are going to happen to you, and you're going to have setbacks. And how are you going to take it? Every day you get up and you go and you learn. It may appear that it is a failure, but at the time, take some introspective and learn from it, because there's a lesson to be learned from that. And I'm very grateful for this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Can I say
go
something?
ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
so
Yeah.
at every bottle back, we do PET recycling of our plastics. Our goal eventually is to build an rPET plant here in Trinidad, which completes the circular economy. Your grant has allowed us to fast track that. What it did is that it gave us a baling machine, allowed us to purchase a baling machine. So much so, we are able to collect faster, meaning we're able to store more in our warehouse. we're able to export. And to date, we have exported almost 300 tons, metric tons, of PET to Latin America, where we're a foreign exchange earner. And without your grant, that would have been impossible. We would have to extend our goal by 10 years, maybe. So, thank you again.
Okay, so, all right, so final question. Anybody would like to just mention a future plan beyond this project? Anyone?
Well, as I said earlier,
The RPET plant.
yeah, the RPET plant, 30 to 50 million US. But yeah, that's the long-term goal. You know, if we get that, it will certainly help the landfills and remove that plastic from the waterways, etc.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. Thank you.